Yo, welcome back. It's day 76. We come a long way, man. And today I want to talk about the ups and downs of life and what I think you should make of it. This morning I woke up and I got the news that the closer on my sales offer had left, which was bad news, right? So basically, I'm setting the appointments on the offer, and then there's a closer closing those deals, so I don't make money unless the closer closes the deals. And this is the second time the closer leaves. So I was a little bit pissed this morning, but I said, oh well. And I went to the gym. I went and hit the gym, felt good. Came back, figured out all the technicalities of, I spoke to the guy running the sales offer, essentially, and he brought on a new closer. So I figured out all the technicalities of getting the call booked on this closer's calendar and everything like that, the workflow. And then I had my first setting call of the day. And bro, earlier that day, or on the morning that day, I called him to confirm, to say, hey, or how would I say it? I'm tired right now. Hey, just calling to make sure that nothing got in the way of your appointment at 11 a.m. today, and then, just making sure that, and I gave him that call, and he got pissed at me. He was like, now something got in the way, don't call me, why are you even calling me, and hung up. And I was like, oh well, that's sales. And then I was eating, actually, and I was taking it easy, and I checked my Gmail, and I see that he's joined the meeting, and the meeting is starting in 1 minute, and I was like, I was counting on this guy not showing up. So I was like, shit. So I grabbed my MacBook and I run up the stairs and I hopped on the call. And this guy has hopped on the call with like eight people from his team. And I'm sitting there completely discombobulated with a new closer. Why are there 9 people in front of me? And this guy was also very, very rude. And I'm just sitting there, I'm like, fuck. So I do that, whatever. I do the call. He gets pissed at me halfway through and he says, this meeting is terminated, bye. And then just hops off the call, and I'm like, all right. And then I hop off the call myself. And I realized, like, my sales script was shit. Like, I didn't like my sales script at all. So I revised my sales script, improved on it, because really at that point I was like, things haven't gone well this morning. They haven't. So I looked at, sure, there's downside to this, but what is the upside? And I started looking at the upside. And I realized, like, hey, this new closer that's come on, I know him personally from before. This is in some sales community as me, and we've done a bunch of calls together. And I know he's dedicated. I know he's gonna stick to the offer. He's not gonna leave it like these other closers we had. So that's a great upside, and that's actually fantastic. And then, let me think. Yeah, and then the upside of that absolutely abysmal call I had on the morning with the guy pulling up with his whole team, I realized, like, hey, I don't really like this sales script. Like, this question here, the way I transition from this to this, I don't like that. So I changed it up and I improved it. And then, at the end of the day today, all the technicalities with the new closer was figured out. Everything was in place. Pretty confident in his ability to close. And myself, like, I hopped on my last setting call for the day with a guy I've been trying to set for like 3 weeks, and I've maybe reached out to him 12 times in total, and finally hopped on a call with him, used this new script, had a really, really good call, closed him, or didn't close, but I set him for the closer, which is basically closing the setting call. But it went great. And at the end of the day, I just realized, like, all these bad moments today really were positive, because I learned from them, and the situation improved from these quote-unquote bad situations, because they're only bad in the short term, right? Like, let's take an obvious example. When you're in the gym, you're doing your bicep curls, like those absolutely last reps, those that hurt a lot, like, they're bad in the short term, right? They hurt, like, they really hurt. That if you really push it to the limit, like, that burns your muscle really hard and it hurts a lot. And it physically breaks down your muscle fibers, like, destroys your body, literally. However, a few days down the line, after you've, recovered, you've eaten, your muscle is bigger and stronger than before. And the same way, sure, I had a shit sales call this morning, but now my script, my skills, is just better. And that does just make me so grateful for the bad times. And that's the way you need to view all of the bad times in your life. Listen, I'm not gonna tell you life's not hard. Like, I probably have it easier than most people's. Like, coming from a middle-class family in Sweden. But even if you're from a similar background to me, like, if you are from a middle-class background, like, life is not going to be easy. It's going to be hard, especially if you want to do something like make a lot of money, or get in really good shape. It's gonna hurt a little bit in the short term, of course. Like, you're gonna have some really, really bad days where you question everything. But there's gonna be some good days too, and it's gonna be easy. And on those good days, it's gonna be very easy to work hard and be motivated and do whatever you need to do. But however, it's those bad days that define you. It's how you handle those bad days that define you. Because that's where you differentiate the people who lose and the people who win. Because the people who let the bad times get to them, who have a shit sales call and something happens and they just, we never have flies in here. I don't know why this is fly. But the people who have these bad times, maybe they have a bad week, maybe they have a bad month, and they give up. They've just lost. Because the truth is, when things go bad, it's usually because you've done something wrong. Usually, I'm not saying always, but usually because everything is cause and effect. Like, that sales call this morning wouldn't have had happen if I actually ran a good sales script. It would have went way, way better. I could have gotten caught up on that and said, "Oh, this is shit. This is absolute shit. Like, I'm never gonna make it in sales. I'm an idiot. I'm just a young kid. What am I even doing? Who am I to say I'm gonna go out here and make money by myself? I should go back to college, da-da-da-da." I could go down that route, and I'm sure some people do. But those people are losers. Like, It's fine to have the thought, but if you actually act on it and you quit, you're a loser, man. I don't know what to tell you. However, if you see these bad times and you see them as an opportunity to pick yourself back up and to see what you've been doing wrong that has led you to this bad time, see what you can improve on, then you're gonna improve and you're gonna not make that mistake again. And you're gonna get slightly worse. And no, slightly better, slightly less bad, slightly better. And just do that a million times and suddenly you're great. You're amazing, you're outstanding. You're super skilled. You have everything you've ever wanted. But you just really gotta stick to those times when it really doesn't seem like it's gonna work out. When it all looks like it's going to shit. When everything seems to be failing. Just see that as an opportunity to go further than most people would. And it's usually those who stick around the longest that win. Because I think it was Ben Francis that said this, the CEO of Gymshark. He was like, business is about survival, because if you can stick around for like 10 years, you've outlived almost everyone, and you win. And if you can just keep working through these bad times and keep improving through these bad times, and even using them as an opportunity to improve even further, the sky's the limit, man. You're gonna make it very, 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 very far. And that's my experience so far in life. Like doing this whole sales thing and getting into sales from absolutely no knowledge, just fresh out of high school, until now, like selling to CEOs, multi-million-dollar business owners, just chatting them up and selling them on things. It's, the only thing that brought me here was smiling in the rain, dancing in the rain, filling my buckets in the rain. I don't know what metaphor is the best, but essentially using these really bad moments, the moments where I'm really embarrassed, where I failed hard, where I failed so miserably that I had to go take a walk. Like, those times are the times that brought me forward the most. It wasn't the good days. It wasn't the days where I smiled and was happy. Or, I don't want to say that, but like, it wasn't the days where everything was smooth sailing that I learned to become a good sailor. It was the days when the ocean was stormy, big ass waves, wind blowing from all directions, lightning and thunder striking my mast. Those were the days that made me something. Not just in sales, but in everything. Like, I remember getting into the gym, like when I was young. I think I was 15. Yeah, I just turned 15 years old when I got into the gym. And I remember every workout, I was so embarrassed. I was so skinny, and I felt like I did everything wrong. But I just kept going, and I kept furiously improving, like researching everything. And every time I had a bad workout, I improved on it. And then the next time I did this exercise better. The next time I did this exercise better. Done. Boom. Suddenly, I was getting pretty big. And then I started chasing the 100 kilogram bench press, was like 25 pounds. And I remember at a certain point I was doing 3 to 5 reps per set. And at a certain point, I remember it vividly. 2 workouts in a row. I had gone to the gym, done my bench, and I hadn't increased by a rep. I really tried, but I couldn't do a 4th rep. I was doing 82.5 kilograms times 3. And how much I tried, I didn't get the 4th rep. And this 3rd session, I went in. I pumped myself up. I told myself, you're the best, you're the strongest man in the world. Sat down on the bench. I got one of my friends there to spot me. I did the 1st rep, the 2nd rep, the 3rd rep. I went for the 4th. Failed. And I remember that I got the help from the spotter putting it back up. And I had to go and walk around the gym. And I was so distraught, man. I was like, yo, I'm not supposed to plateau. I'm supposed to reach 100 kilogram bench press. What is this? But it forced me to change my approach. I changed up the rep ranges to 10 to 12 reps. And suddenly I unlocked a whole new level of growth. Suddenly, like 2 months later, I was benching 100 kilograms. And it was like, I would have never reached that if I didn't reach that plateau and had that super bad day where I was so distraught and had so much mental anguish. Because that's what drove me to really research, like, what are different ways you can do. And then I found changing up the rep ranges, and then I implemented that, and I succeeded. So remember that it's probably the bad days that are gonna give you the knowledge you need to take a step further and get the things you truly want out of life. So next time you have a bad day, if you had a bad day today, if you have a bad day tomorrow, like, just remember that it's the essential part of it, and it's really the part you should almost look forward to, if that makes sense. Because I think it's this way, actually. The gap between you and your goals isn't a series of good days, really. Really what it is a series of bad days that you learn from and increase, like, your baseline level of skill / knowledge. And then every bad day gonna get higher, until eventually you reach your goal. But that's only if you learn from your bad days, if you learn from your mistakes. When everything goes to shit, you smile and you make something of it. So remember that. Next time you have a bad day, remember to see the growth opportunity in it rather than the opportunity to dig yourself deeper and give up and live a bad life for the rest of your life and all of eternity. Just some food for thought. I love you. I believe in you. And yeah, I'll see you tomorrow, as always.